Hi, everyone. This is Arpad from Star Path Academy. Welcome to Coffee Time with Mario. And we were having a great discussion. I thought we should record it and share it with you guys. So Mario, thank you for coming back to the channel.
Oh, you're welcome. And yes, we were speaking about gold and how it's helped or should help people in a country where you have a currency collapse. Usually currency collapse in the last 50, 70 years is usually against the dollar because that's the reserve currency. But if you look at those currencies in terms of gold and even silver, they've done really well. And the advantage of having, even if you're not a gold or silver stacker in, let's say, in Turkey or Venezuela or Lebanon, if you have some jewelry that maybe your grandparents left you, or even you have some rings, not your wedding ring, of course, because you want to keep that as much as possible. But if you have other jewelry, you can always liquidate that and it can save you. And you might say, well, you could have dollars and keep that in the bank. Well, there's some precedent that is not great for that. For example, I remember in Argentina in the 90s, I think the dollar was pegged 1-to-1 to the Argentinian currency. And when that collapsed, the banks in Argentina, and I remember it was Citibank, they wouldn't allow the depositors to take their dollars out. But if you've got some gold and silver at home or wherever outside the system, you'll be saved. So yeah. And I think in Lebanon as well, Ali was saying that for 20 years, the Lebanese lira was like it never fluctuated. Yeah, pegged.
They used it interchangeably.
Yeah, and then one day they closed the banks for a few weeks, and then you couldn't take your dollars out anymore. So that's why I think gold and silver is so important. And I think especially for the people in the US, because the dollar is the reserve currency, and the only money or currency that the dollar can collapse against is gold, not the other ones, because all the other currencies are a derivative of the dollar from the Bretton Woods period. So they will all collapse. So yeah, I think that's why it's so important to maybe have a little bit of gold and silver.
Yeah, very well said. I completely agree. And it's interesting you brought up jewelry, because a lot of people in emerging market countries, they do have this knowledge passed down from generations, from grandfathers. Hopefully, if they didn't go through communism, it wasn't banned or anything like that. They do have a lot of jewelry. Middle Eastern or Eastern countries, in the family, that family jewelry, it was the biggest thing, how they had gold. And sometimes, of course, with jewelry, you could have 14 karat, 18 karat, 22 carats, and there are different in percentage how much pure gold you have in it. However, in some cases, I do want to mention that in some cases in Romania during hyperinflation, it was actually safer to sell jewelry than coins or bars of gold, because you would have this plausible deniability of, well, this is my grandmother's jewelry and the only thing I have, this is the last thing I have. And you could go in and sell it like that. So you would hopefully not be followed back home, that you have more. So just for that case, sometimes jewelry would be easier to, in a black market situation, it would be easier or safer to sell, because you could say you could bring in 2 rings that maybe you have 25 pair of, who knows, but it would be easy to go in, you take it off from your fingers and you sell it, and try to bargain it out. But you could do that 25 times in 25 different places, and that would give you a good
in India as well, they're probably the biggest consumer, if you want to call it, and they do a lot through jewelry, and they do 22 carats, the Indians. Even here in England or in the UK, There's a lot of Indians or Asians, and
Yes,
you even have their special jewelry stores and they sell gold jewelry almost only a few percentage above spot.
that's
So
nice. Yeah.
they look at it as almost money. But
Yes.
if you go to a normal jewelry store and you buy
Yeah.
a 14 karat ring, they charge you like
You know,
three times the gold value.
it will be design, it will be the workmanship. But I know
Mm,
my wife is a jeweler, so
yeah.
you have to know what you're doing and what you're buying. You want something that is close to spot, right? Or at least the percentage, how much pure gold it is in the jewelry. It needs to be close to spot. If not, you could be getting a bad deal, of course. But interestingly enough, in Romania again, we had something called Turkish gold, which was, I believe, 10 carats, or it was a very low carat. But that's what people could afford. So when they would buy on the black market in communism or something like that, they would buy, for their spouses. They could at least somewhat afford that in one way or another if they would from a richer family. So after hyperinflation hit, there was a lot of this Turkish gold, low carat gold that was hitting the market. But in Romania, sometimes these very talented gypsies on the street would set out their shop right on the street, hopefully with some other family members to protect them. And they would melt down your gold right there, evaluate, make a ring for you, or you could actually trade gold right on the street. You sometimes you don't even have a building where they were collapsing
Mm.
anyway. So it was quite interesting. Now, bringing it back to Turkey, we were talking about the Turkish people right now with the currency collapse going on, that they have started purchasing gold and silver a lot. Can you talk about maybe what's going on with that in Turkey?
Well, I don't really know whether
Mhm.
Turkish people are going out and buying gold and silver, but I know that Turkey as a country has been accumulating a lot of
Yes,
gold
a lot.
reserves.
It's in
Yeah,
their
yeah,
culture.
and I think yeah, I think people are still using the Turkish lira. Yeah, it went from, I don't know, 9 or 6 to $13. The dollar went from 6 to 13. It's still being used because you probably know as well. I mean, I know in Brazil as well, uh, when the currency there was going down against the dollar, you still use it.
Yes, yeah.
What they're gonna feel is that the rising prices,
Hmm.
because if you have to import oil or if you have to import crops, food, it's all in dollars, so you're not going to be able to buy as much, and it's going to cost more. So that's how they're going to feel it. I saw there's a story that the Apple store in Turkey maybe suspended sales
Right. Yes. Yes.
in Turkish lira. But
Mm.
once it stabilizes, even if it stays around 13, the dollar, then they will start selling again. What the Apple store was concerned about was the volatility, you see. So, yeah, but yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of tradition in I know Turkey is not really in the Middle East, but that part of the world, like you said earlier, people, yeah, they value jewelry probably a lot more than in the West.
Yes. Well, they probably had more calamities or turbulent times that they went through, right? Because in
Mm,
the West, at least, people have been enjoying the good life for so long that they forget what's valuable. Um, and so I did want to pull up a chart. Most likely I won't find it, but I was looking at a chart of gold prices in Turkish liras, and it was tracking exactly how Turkish lira was falling against the dollar, right? And probably even better on local markets. And I'm 100% sure that on local markets, if you would go in Turkey today, and would try to buy gold with Turkish lira, you would not even get close to you would need to pay way above that what's on a chart somewhere, anywhere, anytime.
yeah,
That's
there'd be
even
a
true
huge,
today with premiums, right, against
yeah,
the US dollar. So
yeah, it would be a
imagine the
huge,
premiums there.
oh yeah, huge premium there probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting that we don't learn the lessons. We keep forgetting them over and over again. Now, do you have a preference against bars, against rounds or coins? Do you have some ideas that you could share with us?
Yeah, I guess for silver, yes, coins, bars, I think they're all good. For gold, it depends. If you're worth $100 million, yeah, you might want to think about buying some kilo bars.
Yeah.
But if you only have 20,000 or $10,000, I would buy coins,
Right.
and not necessarily 1 ounce coins, maybe quarter ounce. They're nice. In the UK, the best coin, I think, is the sovereign, which is about a quarter of an ounce, and it's also legal tender, so there's no
Right.
capital gains. But and also for jewelry, it doesn't matter what carat you buy. All the carat means is that, let's say if it's 9 carat, there's a lot of 9 carat gold in the UK. That means that you've got 37.5% gold, and the other percentage, the rest of the jewelry, is some other alloy. It's just to make it sturdier. So you could buy, it doesn't matter if you buy 9 carat or 18 carat, which is 3/4 gold, as long as you buy the weight. So just wanted to say that as well. 9 carat gold is just as good as 18 or 22. It just depends on how much you buy. You have to buy, let's say, 2 times more 9 carat jewelry than you have 18 carat jewelry. But I would say 18 carat looks nicer visually than 9 carat.
Yes, it does. So completely agree on that. It's just the percentage of pure gold in it, right?
Yeah.
But as long as you buy it at the right price,
Yeah. And never,
it's
never, if someone tries to sell you 24 carat jewelry, don't do it. I think
it's
in
fake.
China, no, it's not fake. It's just, it's very soft, and you're going to lose a lot of the gold.
That's why I would
But
say it's fake, because nobody does jewelry
oh, they
because
do in China.
they
I
do.
heard that the
Yeah.
very wealthy Chinese, it's a sign that they're really wealthy. They'll buy the 24 carat,
It will get thinner and thinner
yeah,
all the
and they
time.
don't care. But that's really stupid, I would say. I guess the Indians go up to 22 is okay. That's, I think, what the Indians like,
Yes,
22
22 is
carat.
pretty good. Depending on the color, what you like.
Yeah,
Looks like this looks
yeah,
like from coffee to jewelry.
yeah.
That was an interesting take. Yeah. Um, and I saw Billy get excited as soon as you mentioned gold sovereigns.
Yeah.
So,
Well, he's turned around now. He's
yeah, it looks
facing
like
the other
he's
way.
not really interested in jewelry, but definitely gold
Yeah,
sovereigns. Yeah.
yeah. He likes silver. He's a silver bug.
Okay, he's a silver. Okay, silver
All right.
enthusiast. Well, yes. The coins, I definitely agree on, depending on how much you have and what your plan is, having smaller denominations is a really good idea, because there are some rules, right? At least in the US, I'm not sure in the UK what's the issue, was the scenario. However, it's very different if you're trading in gold or silver that is above 10,000 US dollars. There are extra paperwork that could be done now, and that's what I heard. I have to look it up again. What's the situation now? But you, in most cases, you want to, even if hyperinflation would happen, you would want to slowly sell it into a market and not make huge jumps, because you don't know if hyperinflation will take another 2 years, another 4 years, and if you sell it too early, then you might not get the best deal. And what is your take on collectibles, collectible coins? I've heard a lot. I don't know too much about collectibles. Um, my wife inherited, still in Romania, some coins that turned out to be somewhat valuable from the Austro-Hungarian Empire, that were interesting. I think it was silver coins, but I've heard people use collectibles as sort of an extension to their portfolio. Are you well versed in coins?
Numismatics, yeah,
Numismatics, yeah.
collectibles. I do have some numismatic coins, and I do like old coins, some rare coins, but you need to be careful because a lot of the dealers, when you buy it, they'll charge you a huge premium, and then when you go to sell, you know, you
Right.
get, yeah, you get kind of whipped around. But I think there was a story back in the late 70s, early 80s, when silver went from like $7 to 50. People were even selling their numismatic coins, collectibles, which was a shame because
Right.
the price was so high, it was even worth more than the collectible. So there's that
Interesting.
too.
Wow.
Yeah, I like collecting them, not because just because I like the coins and the history. I think
Mm,
that's how you have to look at it. And there's loads of books people can look at. I think in the US, for the
mm.
US coins, it's the red book. If you just Google uh, the red book for collectible coins, there's also professional coin pcgs.com, professional coin grading system.com. There's loads of information about collectible coins and which ones are the rarest as well. And yeah, I would do it more as a hobby and not as speculation. Yeah, that's not the one, that one. Let's have a look. I've got one here. It's a guidebook of United States coin. If you type a guidebook of United States coin, it's a red book. It's got a cover. I'll get it on my shelf here.
Well, looks like I'll be shopping
It's
for
this,
books.
it's this one here. You see?
I see. That's looks like a nicer
Oh,
edition. All right.
sorry. Yeah. This is the 2006 one. I've got the 2020 as well.
Hmm.
But this, yeah, I guess that's the
Most
one.
likely this is the one.
Yeah, you can, it's by R.S. Yeoman, United States Coins.
Oh, we'll
So
look it up.
yeah, yeah. So if people are interested, and there are also some YouTube channels that look into coin collecting. There's Treasure Town. It's a really young American guy. He's really good. If you want to look at that
It's
on
like,
YouTube.
wow, this is from
Yeah, that's the.
1951. This is 438.
Oh yeah, they do it every. Yeah, they do it every year though. You can buy
Okay.
probably the
So the book
2021.
itself became a collectible.
Oh yeah, that one there from 1958. Yeah.
Well, people have to study and learn
Yeah.
about coins before they get in because
Yeah.
it's an interesting market to say the least.
Yeah. And it will not track the bullion price. Some
It's its
people,
own animal, really.
yeah, it could. And I guess in the States, the other thing is a lot of people are scared that the government will confiscate gold again. So the executive order that confiscated gold in 1933, it was written up by the Treasury Secretary. I think
Yeah,
his name was Wooden, and he was a coin collector, so he exempted collectors' coins from the confiscation.
right.
So a lot of people buy the numismatic coins because
Because of that.
they will be exempt. But
What
I
about
personally,
jewelry? What do you know if jewelry was also
no, it was
exempt?
just monetary gold that was
Oh, okay. So it
confiscated.
was exempt.
Jewelry would,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yes, you can take a lot of things, but you better not take the jewelry of the wives. That would cause
yeah,
civil
yeah,
war.
yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Even though I think
So
back
there
in
needs to be some diversification of what you own, and
yeah,
yeah,
I think during the Asian currency crisis, I think it was 1997, uh, in South Korea, housewives were asked to donate their gold jewelry to the central bank, and they did.
They did.
I mean that's crazy. I would never. I don't think my wife would ever do that. She's. It's like giving your jewelry to the institution that robbed you of all your savings.
Yeah, may I rob you some more? That's what.
Yeah.
Sure, here you go. Well, to be frank, governments tend to go very crazy in crazy times, and they confiscate the golds that they know about, you know. So I have stories from Romania that people were fleeing communism. This was, of course, when communism came or to Romania. If they couldn't flee with their gold, sometimes they buried it, and that's where it stayed for a long time. And
so when
they fled
they
to
could
Western
come back,
Europe,
yeah,
and they
when they
came
could
back.
come back,
Yes, I
and
have
they knew where
stories
it
about.
was. Yeah.
I know the families that did this, and they are very wealthy now in my hometown. And a lot of people are sort of angry with them, but I mean,
How can you be angry with someone
yeah,
that did the right thing?
yeah. I mean, maybe you should learn from them.
I think they're just jealous.
Yes, that's what I think as well, which is probably the worst part. But yeah, so they did um, bury the gold because as the communism started, it was very hard to get out of the country. They would not, you know, some of course left through the fields to Hungary and then to Austria and so on, jumping borders. But that, you know, if you have small children or family like that, I don't think that's an option. And they couldn't take the gold with them, so they did bury it. And then later on, I think it was the fourth generation, so the grandfather fled, and then the grandson came back with his son, and now they started businesses and bought up a lot of property and everything with the gold that was still there.
And
You know,
they probably had a treasure map, I guess.
I don't know how they passed it down, but
Well,
they passed
the
it down
grandfather
because the money
said
was
it's
there.
over. If you go back to Romania, you go there and you'll find it, I guess.
Most likely, yeah. And they had to be smart about it as well, because you can't just place it in your house or anywhere because it could be demolished. I mean, communism rebuilt cities. They demolished beautiful architecture, became these new brutalist structures came up. So I don't know what they did, how they did. I wish they would tell me, but they were smart about it. So it gold outlasts governments. You know, people were born and some people died in communism and they never saw anything else but communism. But that doesn't mean that the world ended, you know. So eventually it came, democracy or whatever came afterwards, came back. So it's interesting to see. Yeah, it is a. I don't think if you could do any, would there ever be any other assets that you could do with that other than like physical, real assets? And what else could there be that would have this concentration of wealth, right? You could do it with iron, copper, or something, but
yeah,
I don't think there anything is.
and even the collectible coins, they can become even more valuable.
Right.
Like there is a 1933 double eagle. It's a $20 gold piece. They're very rare, and they go for millions, 1 ounce coin.
Wow.
So you could put that in your pocket and go through with all your other change, and they might not even notice that it's a gold coin, you know, the when you go through security. So I guess diamonds is another thing, but diamonds are more tricky.
You have to know what you're doing with diamonds. There's clarity, color. Yeah, there's a lot of properties that you have to look at. So unless you really know what you're doing, there could be inclusions in it, tiny fractures in it, which the price would vary a lot just because of that. So very interesting. I mean, all valuations are just inside of the human head, and you can always be smarter than any government or any large entity, which is a collection of people that try to enact policy, right? But yeah. Well, that was a really interesting talk. So thank you. Do you
Oh,
have
you're welcome.
do you have anything you want to share with the audience?
Well, do what makes sense. You know, try to do what other people are not doing. Be like a contrarian, like I always say.
Spoken
So,
like a true
yeah,
contrarian.
yeah.
I had a really nice time, Mario. Thank you
Me
very much
too.
for coming onto the
You're
channel.
welcome.
Make sure to follow Mario on YouTube and like and share the video. Bye, everyone.